this is not the problem you want to face. I mean, this is literally every person's problem, right?
Yes.
How does this happen? One thing if I want to tell everyone is that if a consumer wants to buy, you want to sell. Big thing I like to say a lot is sell what people want to buy. Don't sell what you want to sell. Something you're doing, you need to believe so much into it because startup journey is not easy. Mistakes are, I think, part of the journey. But I think that's the fun part of it, right? If you do not make mistakes, you're doing something wrong. You will fail. There is a guaranteed thing. If you do not have the courage to stand up again, or if you believe in something that is going to be an easy journey, don't run a startup. Do not even get into it. I think resilience is the most powerful thing in startup world that keeps you going. You need to see, you need to learn. If you don't try, yes, you will not fail, but you will not do anything.
Welcome to the Sandpit Startups podcast, where we journey into the minds of the brightest and the best the region has to offer. We're here to connect the entrepreneurs in the studio with the entrepreneurs listening at home. We sincerely hope the next half an hour or so motivates, educates, or inspires you, and if it does, you know where the follow button is.
In today's episode, we're joined by Bunty Monani, the co-founder of Zofeur. It's a pay-per-minute chauffeur service. I'm sure many people in the UAE are very much aware of it. But today we go behind the scenes, talk about the inception, the journey of building Zofeur, and the future plans of where Zofeur is going to be in the next 4-5 years. So thank you, Bunty, for this splendid opportunity. We look forward to have a super conversation.
Thank you for inviting me, guys. Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure's ours.
Yeah.
So why don't we start off easy and ask a bit of an icebreaker. What was the inception of Zofeur?
Well, there's a story behind it, and I like to tell this story. So me and Ishrat, my co-founder, we founded Zofeur. We were working somewhere, and one fine day, I wanted to drop my car to service station. And I'll not name names now, but I asked these guys, I want to drop my car. Can you just pick it up because I'm busy at work? So I have a finance background, so this month end and stuff, and closing books, and I was like, I cannot leave office, so can you just pick it up? So like, sir, yeah, we can do that, but it'll be chargeable. I was like, that's fine, no problem. I'll be like, I vividly remember the guy is like, we'll charge 700 dirhams for to and fro. I was like, listen, I'm in JLT. We're 10 kilometers away. You're telling me about what, $200 odd? $200 for a two-way trip for 10 kilometers? Are you kidding me or what? And he's like, no, sir, this is the price because, yada, yada, yada. I was like, okay, fine. So I go to Ishrat in the next cabin and I ask him, man, how do you drop your car? I mean, this is the problem. It's due for service for so long. He's like, yeah, I have the same problem. I have to, take a half day off or something and then just do that. And to my surprise, I go and search it online. And I was like, the world we live in, this is not the problem you want to face. I mean, this is literally every person's problem, right?
Yes.
How does this happen? So, that was like a light bulb moment. I go deep into it. I go through a lot of things. Couldn't find much of an option. I mean, there's always recovery trucks, which is what they were offering too. But it sounds like something's wrong with your car. Like it's a usual service. If you love your car, guys would understand and relate to me on this topic very well.
I do. Sure.
We love our cars, right? So I was like, I don't know, I don't want to do that. It's like a hassle in my head. Anyway, so we start there and we find out, obviously, the safe driver use case being the major one, sitting right there to be captured. So there we go. This is how the whole idea of Zofeur was born.
Nice, yeah. We really appreciate these stories where it comes from like a challenge that you faced. There's been times as well where ideation has come from more just like a financial opportunity.
Yeah.
Those are cool too. But yeah, we really like these ones where it's like it actually is something that you faced. And to be fair, now that I think about it, it's a challenge that I've had too in the past.
Yeah. So, I mean, my original problem was we realized it is a problem, but it is not the biggest part of the business. I'll be honest, because the other part takes over. But we started off like that, and then every bit helps when you're starting a business, right? Everything. If a consumer wants to buy, you want to sell. Why not, right? So we go into it. We really keep launching new services. So obviously we started off like Zofeur, paper minute chauffeur. I think you introduced us as well like that. Although we're like much more than one of. I mean, that's just one of the service now.
And we need to get into that. But I'm very curious about this, where you started in one sort of direction, but something else has like taken over and taught you like. What is that? What is that learning process like?
Listen, as an entrepreneur, I think one thing if I want to tell everyone is that keep innovating all the time. You cannot stop. I mean, unless you are not hungry enough. If you're not, I don't think you will become an entrepreneur, because this journey is not pretty easy. So what you do is you stumble upon a problem, you solve it, but is that it? Is there more? You need to constantly think. So we're one of those people that like to innovate. You keep doing that over and over and over again, and you'll realize in the end, we're all working for customers, right?
Yes.
I mean, everything that you do is for the customers. You, at least for me and my co-founder Ishrat, for us, it's like you created the company to solve the real pain that you faced it. So you don't want anyone else to face it. But is that the only pain? If you're doing something and related problems are sitting right in front of your eyes, you keep innovating, you keep doing more to help your customers more and more and more. So I think to answer your question, we started off like that. We started off with solving one, and then we tuck. There is so much more to solve. So we started off as a pay per minute service, and we've become a flagship app that if you have a car, you need a Zofeur app on your phone. That's how we envision the future.
That's very nice. When you start to diversify into these different services and areas, do you ever feel like the sort of brand essence is getting liquidified a bit? Like how do you remain sort of aligned with one brand vision when you're having your head turned in different services?
So that's the thing. One thing I strongly believe in is don't do unrelated things. Do things that are related, right? I mean, if you're selling coffee, don't start suddenly selling iPhones, You know
or
what I
start
mean?
with tea or something else.
Do something that is related to it. Have your brand identity in place. You need to center yourself. You need to do the right thing, because it also doesn't work, by the way. In the same example, if you start selling, it doesn't work, right? So what we do is we started off like as a problem that is related to the car. This is how we see it, right? So you solve, now we're moving people from A to B when they're in, when they want us. Then you do what next? So you think from that direction, the problem that you're solving, and you look close by problems to it. I've seen more often than not these days, unrelated problems or unrelated solutions are being given. I'm personally quite not fond of that. I think you need to do something that you have been doing, something that you have an expertise at, and something that really solves the problem that your customers know you for, right? So to answer your question again, I mean, we've been only releasing the services that are related to what we do, nothing unrelated, and I don't think we'll ever do anything that is unrelated.
So you mentioned about the inception stage. I'm sure you would have a journey where you build the product, and then you had to go to market. And of course, there's a certain level you can reach with bootstrapping. And then the whole question about being in a startup is, how do we take it to the next level? And sometimes the solution is fundraising. How was your approach with Zofeur in this market in terms of fundraising?
I do have actually a pretty interesting story here as well. Probably you would not have heard of this. So initial, when we launched right after COVID, and then we had soft launched the product to test the waters. We were approached by our customers guys, are you looking for funding?
Oh, really?
Wow.
So it's pretty interesting, actually. Our first funding round, pre-seed / seed, first round of Zofeur was done mostly by customers.
Interesting.
Wow.
Usually it's like friends and family, but it's
Yeah.
friends, family, and customers.
So it was like customers / friends,
Okay.
because
That's nice.
the whole major round was taken over by customers turned investors
Wow.
for us. And I think it gave us a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
wow. I mean, so not only I'm solving your problem, you believe in us so much that
Yeah.
you really want to go ahead and invest. And so that's how we actually first round was closed.
That's really nice. It's like the same social validation that crowdfunding gives you.
Yeah.
It's really,
Correct.
really cool.
I mean, to be fair, crowdfunding is a little bit very extended version of it. But this. Imagine, like, just go back to, I don't know, if you have a startup or if you have tried or if you are running or if you had before, go back to your early days. Think, you're sitting in that garage room, and then we had that garage room for ourselves, and you're wondering what to do next. I mean, and
Yes.
honestly, our strategy was a bit different. We did not jump into the ocean directly. We navigated quite a lot. But yeah, one fine day, I'm sitting 11 p.m. at night. Random person is messaging me on my WhatsApp.
Okay.
Are you the founder of Zofeur?
Right.
I just used your service, and I've become such a fan that I want to talk to you. I was like, okay. So, I mean, coming back to the main point, yes, it's a validation, but it's much more than that. I mean, it's much more than that in the sense that, especially the times, right? 21 and 21 to
They were
this,
difficult times. Yeah.
these years of funding winter.
Yes.
When everything is going in the negative direction, when people are shutting doors, someone's trying to knock on your doors, and it's kind of a different thing altogether. So, but yeah, it was a good experience.
So you mentioned about this, and I completely agree with you. I think so. Investors would raise an eyebrow also if they find out that the customers are funding a startup. I'm sure it gives them more confidence because sometimes they're not very sure about the product line, but who is better than the customer to validate, because customer is king in the end, and that's where all the revenues are coming from, and that's where all the growth will come from. So it's really an inspiring, and of course this is, I think so, a first story where the customers are funding the startup. So as you mentioned, truly that. But now I think so you're also present in Abu Dhabi. So your expansion was, I think so, first focus was Dubai.
That is correct.
And Abu Dhabi is now in your in your product portfolio. What's the difference you see in terms of market? Because we hear that Dubai and Abu Dhabi is a bit different. Dubai has more energy, so we expect perhaps you get more customers from Dubai. But how's the experience in Abu Dhabi also been?
See, the markets are quite different, although people are like, the mix is same more or less. Almost Abu Dhabi also has about 80% expats, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So the mix is same. The disposable income is quite good. The market is similar. The difference is Dubai is much more cosmopolitan, right? There's just way too many activities to do. People go out a lot. So on certain use cases for us, the strategies have been very similar. There's not much difference because in the end, if you're solving a problem, you're solving a problem,
Yeah,
right? It doesn't matter which city are you in, and it works very well for us. Abu Dhabi is a very new city. I mean, we've launched hardly 3 months ago.
Okay.
It's been, and it has been a great journey so far because the acceptance is really good. I think people know the brand. People know Zofeur. A lot of people, I think, move as well. And then friends telling each other. We used to get a lot of requests. Guys, when are you coming to Abu Dhabi? Yeah. To my surprise, we get a lot of requests from Sharjah as well, even until now.
I'm sure with the traffic situation,
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to be sitting for 2 hours just to make it to Dubai. I would probably relax and let the driver take care of it.
I think you're spot on that actually. And our B2B angle is quite big on this, and then Sharjah is another beautiful market. But coming back to Abu Dhabi, so yes, most of the strategies remain same and it works, but the perspective does not remain same.
Okay.
User spending does not remain same. The number of, for example, one of the thing is safe driver use case. If we talk about the outlets of entertainment are not as same as number wise as Dubai. So people do not go out as much as Dubai. I think people in the world do not go out as much as we go out in Dubai. So Dubai is an exception, but Abu Dhabi has been performing much better than my expectation, to be honest.
So you said your customers funded your your seed stage.
That is correct.
I don't suppose they're funding your Series A as well.
No. So we've had 2 rounds before this.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was like a very small $500,000 first round, and it was for me as well a new thing, but it helped us take it off the ground.
Yeah.
So right after that, we did another round of $1.5 million.
Fantastic, yeah.
That's the seed stage / Series A. The names are,
They're blurry,
diluted these days. But so that second round was more formal, and we raised from good names in the market. Series A obviously becomes much bigger, and it doesn't work like that.
Yeah. So how's it going?
So far, the traction has been amazing. I think. See, if customers in the end can understand, definitely investors are really smart people. They understand as well. And the difference is that seed or pre-seed stages are so different from raising Series A. I'm learning during this journey, to be fair. I haven't had a startup before. I've had 2 businesses. This is my first startup. So first experience of raising money and stuff like that. So Series A is a different ball game, but at the same time, there's much more upsides than seed and pre-seed rounds, because people know you, especially if you're a B2C brand like ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Right? People know you. The numbers are much more stronger to show. The belief is quite stronger, because now you're not proving your product, but rather you're scaling your product, right?
Correct.
You will most of the times you will raise Series A only if you have a product market fit and you are in that journey to scale it up. So let's see what do we have in the box. But so far it has been amazing. We're getting really good responses. People, investors are loving what we've built so far and are interested.
Amazing.
You have perhaps, if we look at it, 2 types of customers. Mostly people associate with as a B2C.
Yeah.
But you have a B2B clientele list, I'm sure, because as perhaps I mentioned offline that my brother-in-law uses Zofeur extensively for his car workshop, and he has around, I think so, 20-25 drivers on the road. So what's an learning from the B2B aspect? Has that helped you even solidify your position in the market further?
That is very well put, actually. It is indeed. B2B is a considerable part of Zofeur's business. So we started off like my problem, dropping car to service station, and I really believed in it. So when we started off, I think it was such a new thing. It's like I said, it is a category creation, what we're doing. So how do you explain someone, hey, there will be a guy coming to your place, taking your car and dropping, so it's a new thing. So when we started off, so we realized maybe we should approach it differently. Maybe we go to businesses directly. Maybe we go to garages directly and ask them, why don't you book it for your customers? It's a competitive world. It's a noisy world. You want to be heard. Provide something better for your customers. Give them convenience. So I think it worked well for us. We have a considerable, like I said, B2B department as well. And a lot of new things opened up. From one aspect of B2B to tens of different things.
That's very
All
clever.
I can say is that.
Because the cost per acquisition then becomes much easier. Because each business you sell to, you don't have to waste your time selling to like 50 end users. You can just sell to one business, and then, wow, it opens up so many doors for you.
That is true. So that's the beauty about B2B. I think that's the upside and the downside, both, like I call it. Because, and this part is for aspiring entrepreneurs, I guess, who wants to do something.
Yeah.
If you are if you're going or relying more on B2B, then you're also risking it, right? B2B is good to have, but relying on one player is not a great idea to build a business on. So we understood this very early on, and we fragmented out to so many players. We've got hundreds of partners in B2B. All I can tell you is that I cannot tell you exact number, but it's in hundreds. So it's 3 digits. Let's put it like that. And that helps. That kind of helps. And word of mouth becomes stronger even on business to business, because in the end, people are going to see how are they providing the service. Let me do the same thing. So businesses help each other or compete with each other. However you keep your tap on other businesses, you are going to hear about us, and then that helps.
And because ultimately through these businesses, your service is reaching the end user. Does the end user get exposure to your business, or is it totally white labeled from the business?
No, it does. It does help us actually quite a bit. Our chauffeurs are wearing uniform.
Okay.
In the end, so you will see the name when your car is getting delivered, or you're being handed over the key, or it's just on the road. Someone's walking or driving or standing, and that helps. That definitely helps.
And was that like a sticking point when you were speaking to businesses? Did they have an issue with that at any points?
We initially faced a bit of backlash, I would say. No, I want my branding to be intact. So practically speaking, it is also a challenge. You cannot, because listen, we're working on a model where it is a win-win-win for everyone, right? The model that we're working on is I am combining this whole the last mile part of the garage service or rental industry or anyone. So it becomes a very good price point for them, right? So it's a win-win-win for everyone. But if I was to white label it, change, have a special fleet for one and special fleet for another, it does not work. The economics do not work. So both the things combined, we were quite sticking to the point that we want our branding to be intact, and at the same time, economics doesn't work, right? So I think there's no downside to it, right?
I feel like it's like it can be perceived as a petty thing to fight over, but in actuality, I think it's quite important that you did stand your ground on that point.
For us, it does help a lot, actually, because in the end, if you're just getting your car delivered from a random person, I think it's not just about one thing. Branding definitely
Trust
is a very helpful thing for us, but trust issues, then the professionalism, the aspect completely changes. I mean, when you see our chauffeurs, how well they are dressed, how presentable they are. There is a certain expectation that customer has. Okay, I'm comfortable. My car is being delivered by Zofeur, rather than a driver from your garage, for example. So that kind of helps.
Nice.
And I'm sure if you look at it now in your current situation, there has been so many things in the past which, if you connect the dots, has led to where you are currently. But is there anything in the past that you might have done separately or differently, which could probably have impacted Zofeur even more? Or is there like a missed opportunity which you think of?
I think you're asking like, did we do any mistakes?
To put it...
I can write a book, I think. I can actually write a book on this. Mistakes are, I think, part of the journey. So like one, we don't have time to go through it, but I have like considerable list. But I think that's the fun part of it, right? If you do not make mistakes, you're doing something wrong. I would say that, right? You need to see, you need to learn. If you don't try, yes, you will not fail, but you will not do anything, right?
Just remain as you are.
Correct, So we tried a lot of things. A lot of things failed. A lot of things succeeded. Would I do anything differently? I think no. I mean, we weighed our pros and cons of doing things at that time, and we did it anyways. And some things work, some things
Perhaps,
don't.
let's say like a mental approach, because one important part, as I see as myself as a startup founder, is to have that grit, to have that resilience, because you need to stand up again after getting down with, let's say, a failure or rejection. So maybe an approach and mindset that probably you would like to highlight, which you use to perhaps leverage on, not you are going to be raising a Series A. So there must be many learnings, but something that stands out or that the audience also can take inspiration from.
I think you used the right word already, resilience. I believe in it so much that I have tattooed it on my body.
Oh, okay, I can see that, yeah.
And I'm
So
not even
true.
joking.
Well, I didn't see that.
So I think that's one thing that keeps you going, right? It should not let you sleep. Something you're doing, you need to believe so much into it, because startup journey is not easy. Let me tell you that. It is one of the hardest things I've done in my life. And I mean, I don't know, one thing, if I was to put it across, what can you do? Like I said before, keep innovating, keep doing, keep trying new things, but don't stop. That's all I'm saying, right? You will fail. There is a guaranteed thing. If it is there, that's you're gonna fail during the path. If you do not have the courage to stand up again, or if you believe in something that is going to be an easy journey, don't run a startup. Do not even get into it, right? Have faith in the fact that you're going to be failing once, but you're going to get up again, and you're going to fight another day, you know?
Yeah.
I think resilience is the most powerful thing in startup world that keeps you going. And another big thing that I think you asked, what did we learn, is that be ready to pivot.
Yes.
Be ready to pivot all the time.
It's a very understated...
Exactly. I don't think people...
they get married to the idea and think that it has to be rigid, strict, but as you mentioned, you have to be...
People do not give enough importance to how much important it is to pivot during a startup world. Like the fact is, you thought one day, I've landed on $1 billion idea, and I'm going to be next Steve Jobs, I don't know, or Mark Zuckerberg, right? Yeah. But the hardest part is execution. And don't get me wrong, I mean, a lot of people's idea is not important at all, but I don't believe in that. I have a different belief. I think idea is quite important as well, but execution is the most important thing. So, right, when you're executing, if you're just adamant on the fact that this is how I want to sell and this is what I want to do, you're not going to be landing much further. There's going to be a punch in the face, perhaps so the speed of Mike Tyson's punch, and you're going to realize, okay, what do I do now? So you go back to drawing board, you sit down, you rethink your approach, and you go again. And you keep doing this unless you find that time or day that people are willing to buy your product or your service. They're going to be vocal about it. They're going to tell others. And I think that's when you've landed on the right thing. So, but before that, keep moving forward, keep pivoting, and then land on the right place. One big thing I like to say a lot is sell what people want to buy. Don't sell what you want to sell. Yeah. Right? And I don't think there is a book out there that you can just find what people want to buy. How can you find this? By just experimenting.
And to a degree, you need to be the end user at some point. You need to know and understand what they want to buy.
I think what happens is, more often than not, I think that's where I differ a little bit. Like, founders go wrong. It usually starts with an idea, and obviously people, this is a real problem. I know I have this problem, and you don't validate, right? You think, I've landed on this is a real problem. I know this is gonna be the next big thing, without validating it, because the problem is subjectivity, right? Everyone thinks differently. Everyone lives their life differently. They have different problems. The only answer is your problem big enough to resonate with a lot of people, right? A lot of people does not have a definition, but if you can make a good business out of it, then you jump into it, right? And I think that's the approach we took it initially. Before we even launched Zofeur, we tested it out. I think I can say now, we went to social media. We placed an ad for $5 a day. I remember until now. By by 20 days or something, we had more than 3,000 leads. 3,000 people were potentially willing to pay for the service that we wanted to launch.
Super.
We took this approach before even theoretically validating, go through that journey. This was a practical validation for us. Even then, so by nature, I'm a finance person, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a conservative guy by nature. So
Yeah.
even after this validation, I still wanted to validate more. And we just launched a test kind of a thing, a product while we were working, and put it out in the market. Let's see what do people think. And man, oh man, the response that we got. I mean, from first month itself, people were loving the idea. They found the product very cool. We were the first in the industry as such, as a tech company with this model.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to tell everyone, and I think the safe driver use case helped us grow so fast in terms of virality of the product. I think that's why it's very famous as a with that use case. Although we do so many things, and no complaints. It helps. It keeps my CAC very low. So
that's what the investors love as well.
Yeah. So I think the virality of the product came from that, and it all worked out for the well.
Yeah. I did want to ask you actually, because I know you mentioned you got a finance background, you were an accountant before. You've now been flung into this very customer-facing business. How have you dealt with that? Like, how's it been for you personally?
So I've studied a lot, by the way, in finance. I've got like 4 degrees.
Sorry to brush over that.
But one thing I've always loved to do or wanted to do is sell.
Right.
I think by nature I'm a sales guy. Although I went into finance because I think everyone was doing that in those days. My friends were going into finance, and I think I was good with numbers always. That's a fact. So I was like, okay, let's be a chartered accountant. But I've been a sales guy by nature. I like to sell things. I've done this a lot. Some things like MLM, even worse things in my life during college days. It was very cool those days.
Just follow the fad and
it was, I was 15. I was 14 or 15, I think. So I always wanted to sell. I think that helps. If you have that ability to sell offline or online, it's if you know how to sell, you know how to sell.
I think it's a top skill for founders.
Because
your focus throughout the entire time, and particularly the very start, needs to be just ramming the business with new opportunities.
Correct.
Number one, first and foremost.
I think a good team of founders will consist of, according to me at least, I don't know what books say, but according to me, a good salesperson, the foremost requirement, a good finance person,
for sure,
and a good tech person, right? These are the 3 things you need, or 3 skills you need. You don't have to be...
That's the golden trio, right?
It could be one person.
Yeah, it could be one person. It could be anything. You don't have to be necessarily a chartered accountant, but you have to be good with numbers.
Numbers, yes.
That's where you go wrong. If you're not good with numbers, learn to be good with numbers. I know most of the people will hate numbers, but you got to learn to be good with the numbers. I think that helps you, that saves you, that sails you through. So take that from me. Not because I am from finance, but I think it has helped us a lot in our journey as well. Being good, being a chartered accountant or being a finance person.
Nice.
So if you would probably, as you mentioned, that it's again a team effort, but how would you say, like you already have the selling aspect in you intrinsically, and finance comes to you naturally by nature because you're good with numbers. How has your co-founder complemented you in this full journey that you've had? Is it with tech, or is it through the angle of marketing? Because I feel it's that synergy which is one of the formulas for success in a startup.
We both are very different natured people. Very. That's a great thing, actually, I believe. So I'm a very sales-oriented, tech-oriented. I handle those things at Zofeur, and also coincidentally, or because I think we've been friends for long as well, me and Ishrat, he's also from finance background. So both he's from, we've educated I think in UK and then Australia and stuff like that, and then he's also a finance guy, so he's also naturally good with numbers as well. But I'm talking more from not from skills perspective but rather nature perspective.
Okay.
I think this is a long journey. You gotta have people that complement you. Right? He's a very soft-spoken person when you meet him. Very different personality. Those kind of things come in handy. There is sometimes, especially at startups, things are flying around at office.
Need someone grounded.
And then someone has to be that, okay. And sometimes, so I think overall, if I was to put it, where the skills that I lack, that he has, where the skills that he lacks, that I have, something like this is kind of a combo, and that is one of the most important things you need, because I don't think anyone will understand the challenges, the problems, or the excitement you're going through, other than your co-founder. So one thing that you need to get before you're product ready or idea ready is get a co-founder.
Indeed.
Yeah. Indeed. So we're just talking about your early days of your journey. I think it's appropriate as we come towards the end of this recording to maybe touch on where's next in the journey.
Yeah.
Next is, I think, a natural startup step, grow into new geographies naturally. But since we're on the subject, I think I would like to talk about a new product we're launching.
Yeah, for sure.
Is this an exclusive?
Yeah, you can say
amazing.
that, because I haven't talked about it anywhere else yet.
Let's go. Nice.
We're launching a new service, a premium service.
Okay.
It's a luxury subscription model that's going to come across. The service is still same old service, i.e. chauffeur or driver, but on monthly basis, repackaged in a different way, because we see you don't necessarily need to tie up with one driver and be with that driver whether you like it or not, the service, and then you're stuck with because you've given the visa or you've hired them, and then now you're stuck. And then so we came up with a very flexible monthly chauffeur subscription approach, where the person is with you all day, 6 days a week or 5 days a week throughout the month. And we've made a complete new tech platform for this. And the name of the service is not yet final. So let's call it premium service.
Yes, sure.
But you're going to be hearing soon about it. And this is something I like to put this idea in someone's head when I'm talking to them. You've seen movies, in Hollywood movies, you see these investment bankers are being driven by those chauffeurs on the streets of New York. Yeah, that's the service we're bringing to this city, which doesn't exist right now over here, right? Yes, there are drivers. Yes, there are chauffeurs. But the level of training, the level of quality, packaged with tech. So first time in the world someone is doing this. It is a beautiful app. I cannot wait to show you. I think off the screen I can show you guys. I've got the beta version. So, but we're incredibly excited about it. It is seeing tremendous traction, even from the start, that we have close knit group. We're talking to people, and we believe it's going to be quite an exciting times for us ahead.
I don't suppose there might be a launch discount code for our viewers anywhere.
Definitely.
Easy.
Cool. Put that in the description or something.
All right.
Cool. Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure.
It has been, and it's an amazing journey. And as a user, I'm just looking forward to the new premium product. Believe me, we have had a private equity guy on the podcast, and he mentioned that he was looking at such a service so that he can do his work behind the car and not work during, especially the Barsha Road traffic, where spend 45 minutes could be used more productively. So I can see the use cases already.
I think first discount code goes to that person. No, thank you, Sam, thank you, Abhishek, for inviting me and sharing our journey and story. Pretty excited to be here. I think it is quite useful to the entrepreneurs out there what you guys are doing, and
but it doesn't work without people like you.
All right,
yes.
Thank you so much for that. I'm happy to contribute, and look forward to you guys expanding to the next steps, right? Like us.
Let's see.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thanks so much.